Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, I'll be covering more rain and snow across the western United States now through Friday to the end of the week. And then a significant severe weather outbreak appears to unfold on Friday at the end of the month here on March 31st with all severe hazards in play. We'll go over those details and another powerful storm shaping up for next week with a big snowstorm and more widespread severe weather. So we'll get into those details later on in this video. If you guys are not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, now is the time to subscribe to get all of my daily weather forecast updates each and every morning at 9 a.m. on this channel. I cover southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics during tropical weather season. So do me a favor and hit the subscribe button down below, and do not forget to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video. The more likes we get, the more people who view this video. So I definitely appreciate all the new subscribers and all the likes out there. But getting into the weather forecast, we have a big system moving in the west coast here today on Wednesday, and this is going to be diving down across the southwest. We have multiple areas out west here with winter weather headlines. We have winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings here in the pink, which actually does also include the Sierra Nevadas as well here into California, as we are going to get absolutely crushed with more snowfall over the next 24 to 48 hours. You can see with the atmospheric river this afternoon, we're going to see more moisture moving in across central, southern California, getting into southern Nevada here. And this will actually continue going into Thursday morning before we start to pinch some of this moisture off and move it farther to the east as we get into Thursday afternoon. So what will bring this here is more precipitation. We're going to have more snow here, especially from central Idaho down into northeastern and central Nevada here into those higher elevations. We're going to see more rain and snow from time to time across portions of central California, moving into southern California. May have some rain down here into Los Angeles. Getting through this evening, 9 o'clock, we're still seeing some off and on rain and snow. Again, if you go in the higher elevations across the Intermountain West, we're going to see some more snowfall. That continues through Thursday morning commute here at 6 a.m. And ultimately, as we go into Thursday night here for the evening commute at 6 p.m. So again, lots of snowfall out west, lots of rainfall, and looking at the total rainfall accumulation from now all the way through Friday, March 31st, we're going to see these coastal areas, maybe even as far south as Los Angeles and San Diego here, getting 1 to as much as 3 inches of rain. And even again, those lower elevations still seeing some heavy rain as well, getting closer to the Sierra Nevada. But that will still bring the threat for flash flooding. So the day one flash flood probabilities are marginal here, but we still have to watch out for that if you live in San Diego, Los Angeles, or up the coast here towards San Francisco now through Thursday morning. But the snowfall will be prevalent with this system out west as well. So into the Pacific Northwest, central Idaho, western Montana, down here into western Wyoming, northern Utah around the Salt Lake City area, northern Nevada. A lot of these areas will be seeing up and over a foot of snow, especially the higher you go up in elevation. And then across the Sierra Nevadas, we're going to see 2, 3, even 4 feet of snow now through Friday in some of these areas, especially the southernmost areas that you get into the Sierra Nevada. So definitely going to be seeing our fair share of snow out west. But this system won't stop there. As we go into Thursday, we're going to see that trough dive across the Four Corners region, and this is going to bring return flow with temperatures rising into the 60s and 70s across the central and southern plains on Wednesday, and then surging to the north with a warm front on Thursday here. This is going to bring 70s all the way up into southern Nebraska here, southern Iowa with the mid 60s. We could be at 65 degrees there in Des Moines, Iowa on Thursday afternoon. But we also will be bringing some moisture in, so that means more instability. Dew points will be rising into the mid-50s up into eastern and eastern Nebraska, western Iowa. Dew points a little bit higher down here across the southern plains into Oklahoma and Texas, and this is going to fuel the potential for severe weather. We also have to watch the threat here for some mid-level winds. Rounding the base of this trough, we're definitely going to be seeing some stronger winds getting into the mid-levels, and this will raise concern for some severe weather. Now, this is a conditional risk. Farther north near the low pressure center, we're going to have a small area into southeastern South Dakota, extreme northern portions of Nebraska with a low end marginal risk here in the dark green. Farther south along that cold front developing, we're going to have more of a conditional severe risk as well across portions of eastern Kansas, just outside of Kansas City, down through Wichita, Topeka, getting into central Oklahoma, so the Tulsa area, Fort Sill, Lawton, and then on up into Oklahoma City, and then farther southwest into northwest Texas into the Wichita Falls region on Thursday. This does include a 2% probability for tornadoes. Again, this is from Topeka back through Wichita, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and then down toward Fort Sill, Lawton, Oklahoma, and then the Wichita Falls region in northwest Texas. So do watch out for some spin-up tornadoes later on Thursday. But a little caveat to this, we have a strong drought, again, persisting for much of this year across the Central Plains. And why this is so important is that this is going to create more of a capping inversion at the surface. So this may prevent surface-based thunderstorms here. You can't get tornadoes. You can't get any damaging winds without surface-based thunderstorms. And you really see that cap hold strong. Anywhere in these purple shaded colors, that is minus 300 to near minus 400 sin, or what we call a capping inversion. And that is like a steel wall. So it will be very tough to push through that going through Thursday. So timing it out, again, noon time frame, the low pressure system well off across the Central Rockies. We're seeing snow up here into the Pacific Northwest. We'll see that low redevelop here across the Front Range, getting into the Central Plains here by 9 o'clock Thursday evening. But you notice a pretty storm-free warm sector here. We may see some low top showers trying to break that cap here. It definitely could. But as we go into Friday morning, you see we don't have a lot of coverage of many storms out there. Just some showers, maybe an isolated storm here or there, but a widespread severe weather outbreak on Thursday is definitely not in the cards, so that is certainly some good news. But that changes going into Friday. So this is Friday, March 31st. That trough will deepen and actually eject across the upper Midwest. That low pressure system will also deepen as well. And we're going to be pulling that warm sector even farther north on Friday. We can see into southern and central Wisconsin, southeast Minnesota up into the 50s and 60s, Chicago into the 60s, low 70s maybe as far north as southern Iowa. So definitely a dynamic system. And we'll also be pulling the moisture up farther north as well, with those 50-degree dew points perhaps getting up toward the Wisconsin Dells, La Crosse, and then down here toward Rochester, Minnesota. And those 60-degree dew points a little bit farther off to the south near St. Louis, and then southward in toward the Dixie Alley region. But what is concerning about Friday is the mid-level jet is going to be strengthening very quickly as that low pressure strengthens, and also the trough strengthens as well as it ejects from the Central Plains on up into the upper Mississippi Valley here. We're going to see a very diffluent jet stream here moving across portions of the Midwest, especially the lower Midwest, and that is for a regional outbreak for severe weather from Iowa, much of Illinois, getting into Missouri here, Arkansas, much of southwestern Indiana, western Kentucky, middle and western Tennessee, and then maybe as far south as far northwestern Alabama and northern Mississippi. So a wide area for severe storms. And even outside that orange shaded color, which is an enhanced risk, we have a slight risk in the yellow and then a dark green of a marginal risk, and that extends farther east into Indiana, Ohio, eastern Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, and then down into portions of northwest Georgia. So an expansive area of severe weather. But where you see the red and also the hatched marks here, that is a 30% hatched risk for wind, large hail, and also tornadoes as well, potentially in this area. So we could have some significant damaging winds over 75 miles per hour, some significant hail, and possibly some strong tornadoes going in through the day on Friday. And again, understanding what these severe thunderstorm risk categories are, on Friday, the highest risk we have so far is a level 3 of 5, an enhanced risk. That means numerous severe storms are possible, and they're more persistent and or widespread. A few of those also could be intense, so we'll definitely have to watch it. And it is definitely possible this gets upgraded here either tomorrow or on day one on Friday itself to a moderate risk, which would be likely for more widespread storms that could be more long-lived, widespread, and again intense. So we'll have to watch and wait and see what happens then. So going through Friday morning, again, not much storms to the south. So we have that warm sector pretty much storm-free, maybe some scattered showers and elevated thunderstorms, some small hailers up here in Michigan, northern Indiana, Indiana, getting into Ohio, these won't be that big of a deal. Going through 4 o'clock now, mid-afternoon on Friday, we have that cold front starting to move into this warm sector here. And we're going to see a strengthening low pressure system. And right near the low there in central Iowa, near the Des Moines region, farther south toward Ottumwa, Iowa, and then toward Kirksville, Missouri, we're going to start to fire off some supercells. And these could be rather intense with a strong wind field. These are going to be moving very quickly and then start to develop maybe a derecho as we go in towards Friday evening at 7 o'clock. That will push across much of Illinois, down through Missouri into northern Arkansas. So definitely watch out for some intense, damaging winds over 75 miles per hour, and that could go as far north as southwest Wisconsin. Then as we go here into Friday evening at about 10 o'clock, that pushes into southwestern lower Michigan through the Indianapolis region, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Indiana, all the way southward toward Paducah, Kentucky here, and maybe even the Memphis region. Definitely have to watch out for some stronger storms there. You see that deformation snow band starting to wrap around the backside of the system. By the time we get to 4 a.m. on Saturday, we could be seeing some snowfall in the same areas that earlier on could see severe weather on Friday. So a very dynamic system. And again, the severe weather by Saturday morning at 4 a.m. will be weakening as it outruns the instability here going toward the mid-Atlantic. So again, a watch versus a warning. What's the difference? A severe thunderstorm or a tornado watch means be alert. Severe storms or tornadoes might form and affect your area. A warning means take action now. A severe storm or tornado is imminent and it is expected to impact your area. So know the difference between a watch and a warning. Definitely could be very crucial on Friday here as those storms push very quickly off to the east. Then on Saturday, that trough moves up into the southeastern Canada and the northeast. That will be bringing more snow here to Ontario, Quebec, Canada. With that snow line well up to the north, we have more rain all across the mid-Atlantic, the northeast, and down the east coast. Maybe some strong storms here from maybe Virginia down through the Carolinas and Georgia. Those will mainly be some damaging wind and large hail producers on Saturday. Probably not that big of a deal. But farther north, like I said, the heavy snowfall, that will stretch from South Dakota, northern Nebraska, through portions of the Twin Cities there in Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and then all off to the east across portions of southern Ontario and central Quebec. A lot of these areas could see 8 to 12 inches or more of snowfall, so definitely a plowable snow well to the north for this weekend. But then here we go again. Later on this weekend, early next week, we got another trough diving down here across the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest on Sunday, April 2nd now. This will be diving down across the Central Rockies into the Four Corners region by early next week on Monday, April 3rd. And this is going to bring more snow across southwestern Canada and the Pacific Northwest, more heavy coastal rain here for western Washington, western Oregon, and northern California on Sunday. That'll push east here with a stronger low developing on the front range of the Rockies as a 993 millibar low already near the Denver region by Monday. Behind that cold air, we're going to have more heavy snow across the Salt Lake City area on up here into northwestern Wyoming, southern portions there of Montana, and back into Idaho on Monday, and that's where we have the heaviest snow. So going into next week, early next week, so from Sunday through Tuesday here, we're going to see more heavy snow across the West and the Pacific Northwest, with the highest of accumulations across those higher elevations here across western Wyoming, the Salt Lake City area there into northern northwest Utah, Nevada, Idaho, back into the higher elevations of Washington State, Oregon, and even the Sierra Nevadas getting more heavy snow as well into California getting into early next week. But as we see that system progress farther east, so on Sunday we're going to start to see again return flow back behind our system and then ahead of our next system, and that's going to bring more 70s and 80s, especially into Monday down here into portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Many areas could be in the low 90s in central Texas on Monday. Then that system and cold front pushes east on Tuesday, April 4th, and we see 70s potentially all the way up into the Indianapolis region, Columbus, Ohio, toward portions of Louisville as well into Kentucky. So definitely a dynamic system pushing in for early next week. And you can see on Monday, April 3rd, we have those dew points returning into the 60s and 70s down here initially into the Arklatex regions, but that actually lifts all the way up with those 60-degree dew points into portions of central Iowa Iowa, northern Illinois by the time we get to Tuesday, April 4th. You can see as we go into Monday as well, another dynamic with the system. We have that very strong mid-level jet here pushing east, and look at how strong this jet gets as we head into Tuesday, April 4th. So definitely another dynamic storm, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center already 7 days out already has a slight risk, a large slight risk, covering central, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, much of Missouri here, Arkansas, portions here of northern Louisiana, north central Mississippi, northern Alabama, Kentucky, here into portions of Tennessee. So definitely a widespread severe weather outbreak likely early next week. And you can see Monday afternoon, snow to the west. Again, an open warm sector, not many storms, maybe some stronger storms initializing down here toward the Gulf Coast. These won't be too big of a deal, probably more of some hail, some damaging winds, and brief tornado, but probably not that big of a deal. Then going into Monday night, that snowstorm on the northwest side is really going to be kicking off across the Dakotas, southeastern Montana, down through Wyoming, and toward portions of western Colorado as that warmer air and that warm front lifts farther to the north. Then Tuesday afternoon, again, a 971 millibar low develops somewhere across the Midwest here with very heavy snow, possibly a blizzard on the northwest side, then severe weather across portions of Iowa all the way down into the Arklatex regions with a massive line of storms that will push through the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the Deep South on Tuesday night, and then going into Wednesday afternoon with more heavy rain across the East Coast and a heavy snowstorm farther to the north. So looking at the snowstorm side of this, again, another potent storm. We're going to be bringing a lot of moisture farther to the north, so we're going to see heavy snow, potentially up to a foot of snow across northern Minnesota through the Dakotas and back into eastern Montana, according to the European model. And the GDPS, or the Canadian model, is pretty much on board with that as well. A little bit farther to the north, though, across far northern Minnesota, the Dakotas, and into eastern Wyoming in this model. So we'll continue to watch it for you guys. A very active weather pattern over the next couple of weeks here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Remember to like the video down below, give it a thumbs up, leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Wednesday, everybody, a great rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next video.